Tshwane Mayor Cilliers Brink has recommitted himself to making the city work for all its people. He recently marked a year since taking office, and during this time, the city has been plagued heavily by water and infrastructure challenges, which also led to an outbreak of cholera in May of last year. Municipal workers also embarked on a protracted strike that put them at odds with the municipality and also stalled service delivery in the capital. Mayor Brink joins us now to give us an appraisal of his tenure. Mayor, good morning to you and congratulations. Are congratulations in order for the year that's been, do you think?
Well, it's very good to be with you. I think I'll take the congratulations, if only for surviving this long, and that might seem like a flippant remark, but political stability and being able to make decisions and then carry them through is a very important mark of whether any progress can be made. Unfortunately, in the Gauteng metros and everywhere really except for the Western Cape, there's been a great deal of instability. So yes, I'll take that, but the other important points are that we are making the important decisions to improve service delivery in the short to medium term, including the appointment of a new top management, which I believe is a prerequisite for changing the culture of the institution. We made some very difficult financial decisions, but those decisions were necessary, including foregoing salary increases to improve the financial situation of the city. But we've also made important moves in improving the audit outcome of the city, rebuilding systems and controls, and taking the first steps to achieve greater energy independence from Eskom. So we're certainly not where we want to be, but I think we've taken steps in the right direction. And that is very important, because if you're heading in the wrong direction, you can speed up and you'll just fail quicker, whereas I believe we are taking the difficult, albeit slow, steps in the right direction.
So, and we'll get to all of those, because I want to talk about, prospects for a different audit outcome on the back of some of the woes that you've already had and have been red flagged by the AG. We'll talk about the Eskom debt and some of your plans to recoup money, particularly from those who default on paying, their due to the city in just a moment. But can I invite you, I see you're not wearing a tie. I was going to invite you to loosen your tie and just take a moment with me to just relax. And talk to us about, what you said, just the survival over the year in and of itself is a milestone. We've seen this from city council to city council, the violence, the fighting, people literally coming to blows in council. That from your point of view, what's been, even internally and even, from a personal perspective, some of the mainstays that you've had to kind of ensure that you are able to survive this long?
Well, the first is to realize that you're in a coalition. I would have loved to be in the position of my counterpart in the city of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis, who not only has the benefit of more than a decade of sound governance, but also far more than a decade of a majority so that you can make decisions quickly and easily. When no party has a majority, and this has been the situation since 2016 in Tshwane and many other places, then things happen slower as a matter of necessity. You also have to make certain compromises. You have to see what win-wins can be achieved within the available time and resources. So it's a whole different ballgame, in essence, to run a coalition. And it is required not just keeping the coalition together, being respectful and inclusive of the views of our partners in the coalition, but also reaching out to the opposition. And even in this general election year, I can say to you that's what we do. We meet with the major opposition parties that are interested at all in meeting with us ahead of council meetings. I've got a good relationship with the Speaker of the Municipal Council, who, as you know, is not from my political party.
Yeah.
And that, I suppose, is part of the maturity that is required to run these coalitions. The low point, obviously, for me, was that dreadful cholera outbreak, the cause of which has still not been determined, but which highlighted the plight of the people of Hammanskraal and the fact that defective infrastructure, stuff such as wastewater treatment plants and purification plants, if not upgraded within their lifetime, can really lead to misery. So in answer to your question, those would be my points.
All right, well, let's, in a sense, figuratively put the tie back on now. Let's go to some of these other operational issues. You've got this bold plan of generating R1 billion a month, I believe, in revenues for the next 6 months. You're going to ramp up your collection. I think you're going to be targeting some of the biggest defaulters in terms of paying in the city. So just share with the residents of Tshwane on that front in terms of making sure you can recoup that money, what you're planning to do exactly.
So if you look at the collapse of municipalities across the country, and I just want to take it a bit wider afield than Tshwane for a moment. If you look at the Northwest, the Free State, parts of Mpumalanga, it's not that folks haven't paid their bills. It's that in many instances, folks don't even receive bills from the municipality. In other words, the breakdown of services was preceded long ago by the breakdown of tax administration capacity, the ability of the municipality to meter services, to render a bill, and to make sure that that bill is paid. You know, like any commercial...
Mayor, I'm so sorry to interject, so sorry. Maybe just take a quick breath for us. You know the story, right, of what happened in Limpopo last week, that horrific bus crash that miraculously produced one survivor. We're just going to take our viewers quickly, if you don't mind standing by with me, to what's happening right now. And Atlang Siyako is the 8-year-old, the sole survivor of the Limpopo bus crash. She's traveling back home from Polokwane today. I want to go back really quickly to just quickly continue our interview with Mayor Cilliers Brink. Mayor, unfortunately, we have limited time now, but maybe to leave us with a word, there was a spotlight on that audit around 10 billion in irregular expenditure for 21-22. You're saying you're expecting an improved audit outcome this year. Maybe just a final word to the citizens of Tshwane. The situation is in hand and you're expecting a real material turnaround.
Yes, indeed. We've improved from an adverse to a qualified audit in the previous financial year already, and we're aiming to achieve at least an unqualified audit in the present financial year, which is an assurance really that things are being done to get value for the people's money. And perhaps just a final word, I was speaking about our recoveries, our debt collection and credit control. Tshwane Yatima really is about getting folks to pay for what they consume, and it's an obligation we owe, not just towards our own constitutional obligations and our own employees. It's an obligation we owe towards people who do pay for their services. So that is a really important fight for us, and we thank Tshwane consumers, the 6 out of 10 people who pay their bills on time. We thank them for their contribution, and we commit to making that circle bigger.
Mayor Cilliers Brink, thank you very much for just sharing, what it's been like over the last year, sharing what your plans are going to be, and of course, just as well accommodating us with that developing story.